Ronnie Coleman did not just build one of the greatest bodies in bodybuilding history. He built a body that looked almost impossible, a body that made people stop, stare, and wonder how a human being could even look like that. 8 Mr. Olympia titles, 26 professional wins, an 800-pound squat, a 2,300-pound leg press, and a back so wide it looked unreal. Ronnie was not just called the greatest bodybuilder of all time. Many people looked at him and said he looked almost inhuman. But behind that legendary physique was a body silently breaking down. The most shocking part is that the damage did not begin after Ronnie became champion. It started before his greatest victories, before the 8 Olympia titles, before the world called him the king, and before "Yaya Buddy" became one of the most famous phrases in bodybuilding. It started with one sound, a loud pop. It was December 1996. Ronnie Coleman was in the gym, doing what Ronnie Coleman always did. He was lifting heavy. On that day, he was squatting 600 pounds. For most people, even standing under that kind of weight would be terrifying. But for Ronnie, this was normal. This was work. This was the price of becoming great. Then, during one of the reps, he heard something in his back, a loud pop. In that moment, most people would have stopped immediately. Most people would have dropped the weight, ended the workout, and gone straight to the hospital. But Ronnie Coleman was not wired like most people. He finished the workout, he kept training legs, he did leg press, he trained hamstrings. Then he went home, ate his food, and got ready for work as a police officer. But this time, something felt different. Ronnie was used to pain. Pain was part of his lifestyle. Pain after workouts, pain after heavy squats, pain after brutal training sessions. That was normal for him. But this pain did not fade. It stayed with him. It followed him out of the gym. It followed him home. It followed him while he was getting ready for work. That was when he realized something was wrong. He went to the emergency room. The first test did not show much, but when doctors later did an MRI, the truth became clear. Ronnie Coleman had a herniated disc. Doctors told him he needed surgery, but Ronnie said no. And that decision changed everything. He did not take months off. He did not step away from training. He did not rebuild slowly with proper recovery. Ronnie rested for about 2 weeks, then walked back into the gym. And the first major exercise he returned to was squats. When he later talked about it, he said he only squatted 300 pounds, as if that was light, as if that was safe, as if a damaged spine could handle it, just because the mind was strong enough. But the human body does not care how badly you want to win. The spine does not care about trophies. Discs do not care about legacy. Nerves do not care about Olympia titles. Ronnie's mind was ready to continue, but his body was already sending warnings. Still, he kept going. This is where Ronnie Coleman's story becomes both inspiring and painful, because after that injury, after that loud pop, and after refusing surgery, Ronnie went on to become the most dominant bodybuilder in the world. From 1998 to 2005, he won 8 Mr. Olympia titles in a row. The world saw greatness. The world saw size, power, discipline, and dominance. Fans saw a man who looked unstoppable, but inside, the damage was growing. Every heavy squat placed more pressure on his spine. Every brutal leg day pushed the injured disc further. Every deadlift, every leg press, and every training session added stress to a foundation that was already cracked. Ronnie later described it like a domino effect. One disc starts to fail, then another, and slowly the entire structure begins to suffer. But while his spine was breaking down, his legacy was rising. That is the painful contradiction of Ronnie Coleman. By 2007, the damage could no longer be ignored. Ronnie retired from competitive bodybuilding, but the pain did not retire with him. His back had reached a point where walking became difficult. Nerve pain became severe. The injury that began years earlier had turned into something much bigger. Finally, in December 2007, Ronnie Coleman had his first back surgery. The surgery was supposed to help, and for a while it did. Ronnie felt better. But Ronnie Coleman was still Ronnie Coleman. He went back to training. Not with the same competition level weight, but still with weight most people would consider extremely heavy. Because for Ronnie, the gym was never just a place. It was his identity. It was where he became who he was. It was where the legend was built. But the pain came back. And when it came back, it did not come alone. Over the years, Ronnie Coleman went through 13 surgeries. Back surgeries, neck surgeries, hip replacements, revisions, hardware, screws, rods, and cages. His body became a battlefield. Doctors placed hardware into his spine to stabilize it. Screws were used, rods were used, cages were used. The goal was to hold the damaged structure together. But then came another nightmare. The screws started breaking. Imagine going through major surgery believing it will finally help, only to find out that the hardware inside your spine has failed. Imagine the pain. Imagine the fear. Imagine knowing that the only solution may be another surgery. And then another. And then another. Ronnie said his mobility became worse after some of the surgeries. Broken screws created more problems. Nerves were affected. His walking became harder. His legs became weaker. His once legendary quads began to lose size because of nerve damage. The man who once squatted 800 pounds now needed crutches to move longer distances. The man who once leg pressed 2,300 pounds now faced daily pain just trying to walk. And yet, what made Ronnie different was not just what he lifted, it was how he responded after losing so much. He still smiled. He still trained. He still showed up. He still said, "Yeah, buddy." He still called weights lightweight. To fans, it was inspiring, but it was also heartbreaking. Because every time people saw Ronnie Coleman smiling through pain, they were watching a man carry the full cost of greatness. Then, in 2025, Ronnie faced a different kind of battle. This time, it was not a gym injury. It was not a torn muscle. It was not another planned surgery. It was a serious infection, a health crisis that became life-threatening. After years of surgeries, reduced mobility, and physical complications, Ronnie's body was already vulnerable. Then an infection spread and became extremely dangerous. His condition declined quickly, and emergency help was needed. One of the most emotional parts of this story is the role of his daughter Lola. She was there when the situation became serious. She acted quickly. She helped get help when it mattered most. Ronnie later credited her quick response as one of the reasons he survived. Think about that. One of the strongest men bodybuilding has ever seen. A man who lifted weights that looked impossible, a man who dominated the Olympia stage for nearly a decade, was now in a fight where strength alone was not enough. No amount of muscle could solve it. No trophy could protect him. No record could save him. This was survival. Ronnie was taken to the hospital. Doctors treated the infection and worked to control the complications. His heart was affected, and his condition was serious. For fans around the world, the news was shocking. Ronnie Coleman had already survived so much. 13 surgeries, broken screws, replaced hips, nerve damage, daily pain, and limited mobility. And now this. But somehow Ronnie Coleman survived again. After treatment, he returned home. He later described that period as one of the toughest fights of his life. Instead of hiding from it, he spoke about it. He used his experience to raise awareness. He turned another painful chapter into something that could help other people. That is what makes Ronnie Coleman's story so powerful. It is not just about bodybuilding. It is not just about muscles. It is not just about lifting heavy. It is about what happens when a human being gives everything to one dream. Ronnie Coleman reached a level of greatness most athletes will never touch. He became an 8-time Mr. Olympia. He built one of the most shocking physiques the world has ever seen. He trained with a level of intensity that still sounds unreal today. But the price was brutal. His spine paid the price. His hips paid the price. His nerves paid the price. His mobility paid the price. His daily life paid the price. And yet, if you ask Ronnie if he regrets it, his answer is not what most people expect. He has said he would not change much. In fact, when talking about his famous 800-pound squat, he once suggested that if he could go back, he might have tried to do more reps. That answer sounds unbelievable to most people, but that is Ronnie Coleman. He was never built for average. He was never chasing comfort. He was chasing greatness. And greatness in his world required everything. Today, Ronnie Coleman is still here. He trains lightly, he makes content, he connects with fans. His body is damaged, but his spirit is still recognizable. The voice is still there. The smile is still there. The mindset is still there. The body that once ruled bodybuilding is not the same body anymore, but the legend inside it has not disappeared. Ronnie Coleman's story is both inspiration and warning. It shows what discipline can build, and it also shows what obsession can destroy. It shows the beauty of pushing limits and the danger of pushing past them. He became the greatest because he refused to stop. But that same refusal followed him into pain, surgeries, and a lifetime of physical consequences. So the question is not whether Ronnie Coleman was great. He was. The question is whether the price was worth it. Maybe only Ronnie can answer that. But one thing is clear. The body paid the price. The pain became real. The damage became permanent. But the legend survived. And that is why Ronnie Coleman will never be remembered only as a bodybuilder with injuries. He will be remembered as the man who showed the world both sides of greatness, the glory on stage and the cost behind it. If this story made you see Ronnie Coleman differently, then like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. Do you think becoming the greatest is worth it if the price is your own body?